Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the narration and character voicing for the side story where Vernal Winds Will Never Blow. And as always, thank you very much for the likes and the comments on the previous episode. Much appreciated, they help me a lot, so thank you very much. And for newcomers to the channel, if you want to start the narration from the very beginning, playlists are in the description of the video, not just for this one, but also for the previous stories, pretty much all in line, numbered from start to finish. If you want to go all the way back to Ancient Forge, or you just want to familiarize yourself with the previous story to this one, which is Invitation to Wine, which would be my personal recommendation, considering how much stuff is carrying over into this. Everything is down there in the description. Alright, but we shall now proceed with the recap of the previous part. So for those of you who want to jump ahead, timestamp, as always, in the pinned comment in the comment section below. Right then. On the previous part, we pretty much began with a scene at a clinic in which, and I keep forgetting his name, Tianpei, pardon, is currently conversing with an injured Jiyun, pardon. They do seem to be going around each other a tiny bit, but they get interrupted by Zuoli appearing at the door, who is currently still in the pursuit of both the assassin from last night, but also following Jiyun, considering that she stole Chngyue's sword. He does get stopped, and Jiyun manages to escape. Meanwhile, Lin is pursuing her own methods of investigation throughout the city, basically hitting up some of the smugglers that came from Lugmen and getting some information out of them. Zuoli, who is in pursuit of Jiyun, runs into the market area that is currently bustling and hustling. He gets attacked, but Li jumps in, who was there nearby and saw him, and hides the two of them away with his camouflage techniques. The two of them are still in a bit of trouble, but they get essentially bailed out by none other than Kyubai, who appears at the market, and she dispatches the trouble, essentially. But out of all of that, Li suddenly stumbles upon some clues and hearsay about Huai Tianpei's presence in the city, which surprises him a bit. Meanwhile, Lin, who got some information from the smugglers, learns that the death of the Catastrophe messenger was not all that it seemed and that there is more to it. She proceeds with one of her subordinates to go to a storehouse for the Sword Forge, and she encounters there a suspicious individual. She lies to the man that she entered into the wrong building, basically telling him that she was lost, but she was looking for a stonemason storehouse, and she proceeds to be escorted out. She does leave her subordinate behind to watch the storehouse and the person inside, if they leave, to follow them. Meanwhile, Jiyun runs into Meng Tie, and she confesses to him about who she is and where she is from, and about her Shifu. Shifu, by the way, is her master, or I think is just another word for master. But Meng does realize who she is talking about because he shares some history with the person, and because he owns some stuff to the person, who is now deceased, decides to help Jiyun escape from the city. Lin, however, after she gets some information later in the day, what happened at the Sword Forge, or rather Sword Forge storehouse, and the person that left the storehouse disappearing, proceeds to pretty much coax Du Yaoyi into believing that Meng might be involved with the Shanhaizhong, and gives her some incriminating evidence that there might be some kind of connection, which does piss Du Yaoyi off enough that she leaves the inn that they are all in, and she storms away to the Sword Forge. Meanwhile, Taihei, who is secretly helping Zuo Li with his investigation behind the lines, runs into a couple of Shanhaizhong members and engages them in combat. He does get the upper hand very easily over them, but then the leader appears and the leader smacks him down, literally, or slices him down rather, in one fell swoop. He does, however, struggle back to his feet, trying to use his arts again to restrain everybody who is present, but in another strike goes down. We do learn that he is still alive, but barely survived the encounter, and might not be in any condition to do anything, maybe for the rest of his life, depending on how he recovers, at least from what is said, which also pretty much enrages Zhuo Li, who rushes in after he hears the news, and he's now more than determined to keep on his pursuit of the Shanhaizhong. We also get treated to a nice little moment between Wei and Wu and Chngyue, who reminisce about old times and when they met in the past. Chngyue does at one point also admire the sword technique that Wei and Wu applied at some point in the past, and Wei does leave a, as I like to call it now, a titular Chekhov's gun in that conversation, where he says that the cloud-splitting sword is not Shi Xiao's ultimate move. And like I said in the comments of the previous episode myself, that is a Chekhov's gun. That gun better fire at some point. Either in this story, or in another one in the future. He left some big shit behind. But anyway, that is it for the recap, so let us proceed. Right then, today we shall proceed with stages 4, the scene-only ST-2, and then stage 5. I will already say it, stage 5 only has a pre-scene, pre-battle scene, so it will be left a bit on a cliffhanger here today, but considering that this is a daily series, you will not be waiting too long for the next part. So then, let us proceed. Stage number 4, titled Let the Old Times Go. The gazer did not want to keep an old friend reminiscing about the old days, or the old workshop.
Uncle Meng, are you in there? I need to talk to you. It's Du Yao Yi.
A random wanderer on the side. Stop knocking, miss. Don't you see the sign on the door? They close at dinner time. Come back tomorrow.
Hey, are you listening? Uncle Meng, are you hiding something from me? I'm coming in if you don't answer me.
Another one. What is it with young people these days and going to the blacksmiths in the middle of the night? Oh, you're Xingyu innkeeper Zheng's.
Are you the Mandarin who came looking for Dad?
When did you get to Yumen, and why?
I'm looking for someone. What about you?
I'm investigating a case.
The government is investigating the Sword Forge. Did Uncle Meng really do something?
Sounds like there is something suspicious about this place.
I'm the one asking questions.
Please do not obstruct the investigation, assuming you have nothing to do with it.
Who's obstructing who here?
The flash of a sword interrupts Du Yao Yi. The lock and the close sign fall to the ground, cut in half. Zhuo Li charges into the sword forge. The random wanderer again? Meng told me to keep an eye out. Didn't think there would really be someone here looking for trouble. I have to get help.
What are you doing? I'm talking to you.
You...
Is this how you people investigate?
Show yourself. Meanwhile...
Come in. Mr. Li.
I saw a waifu run off just now. Didn't even respond when I called out to her. She just graduated from university. It's her age tend to act before thinking. I hope you can give her some pointers.
I'm in no position to act high and mighty in front of your employees. I was the one who made trouble for her.
No worries, it's a good experience. A few crooks are no match for her anyway.
Was my father asking for your help last night?
I wouldn't call it help. Just happened to overhear something when looking for someone. We detectives always hear more than other people. Hopefully it will be of help to your case.
I would love to hear it. Please, take a seat.
Let me decide where to start. Just hypothetically, what would happen to Lugman if Wei and Wu and your father didn't get along? We're facing a catastrophe on the outside and Shanhaizhong insurgents on the inside. The general has no time to see a commoner. I hear he knows the general. We should still pass the word just in case it's really something important. Go up. The general will see you. He's on the tower. The night is deep. The stairs, however, remain as bright as day, illuminated by originium spotlights in the walls. Meng Tie walks slowly. The soldier behind him does not rush him. It has been more than a decade since he last climbed the towers of Yumen. Lord Exorcist, sir. Cut the formalities. What is it? I would like to ask permission to leave the city. I heard about what happened to the messenger's party. There wasn't much left of it. There were a few boys from the Sword Forge in that party. Someone should pour out spirits and bring back a few grains of sand where they died. Come. Sir? Has the lockdown been communicated to the entire city? Yes, sir. You heard him. That's why I came to ask you. No. Sir, Yumen is currently moving at high speed over the barren desert. There's no point in leaving the city right now. Enough. Yes, Yumen has gone too far. How will we find our brothers in this sand and wind? The dead are already gone. The forward progress of Yumen permits no delay. The criminals who killed the messenger have infiltrated the city. The entire city is on high alert. Catching the criminals is the most important thing we can do for the dead. If that's the case, please allow us to join in the hunt for the killer. We have many connections in the city. I'm sure we can be of help, especially with so many Chongyue wanderers in town lately. Catching criminals and protecting Yumen is the duty of the soldiers of Yumen. I am not so incompetent as to need to ask for civilian help. Is that all?
You struck out in mid-air with such force, yet somehow managed to stop the momentum. The foul beast dives into the river and flies away with the fin, leaving behind only ripples on the water. Your mastery of your kung fu has reached new heights. May I ask you to demonstrate one more time? Only if you can get that frightened sand beast to come out again. That's beyond my ability. A move is simply the abstract compilation of human reaction, something that is not and cannot be fixed. People don't react in fixed ways. Kung Fu is all about improvisation. Do not let yourself be bound by form and moves when you record the martial arts under heaven. The form is the shell, while the concept is the spirit. The Grandmaster taught me that long ago. Knowing and understanding are different matters. You should learn to be flexible. The Millennium is assembling the troops. A full 100-man regiment? That's big.
The men are assembled, sir. Gear check, then we go to the south side sword forge. Yes, sir. Miss Q, record keeper.
Have you picked up the Shanhaizhong's trail?
Monitor Sensor Taihe was injured near the sword forge. Lord Zuo Li has ordered a search of the place.
Has the Lord Exorcist been informed?
The general is stationed at the outer tower. He authorized Zuo Li to command his personal troops for 3 days.
Is there direct evidence that the sword forge was involved?
The details are unclear.
Where is Zuo Li?
He went over first. He's very anxious about Monitor Sensor Taihe's injury. Some sword forge, just a hideout for gangs. He's not here. Some men had dealings with the candle holder. I knew he couldn't be trusted. He still has the catastrophe data. Find him. After dispatching these 2 kids.
Who are you? That is Uncle Meng. Did you kill him, or are you working with him? Where are the keys? Not in a talking mood. Then we can do this the hard way.
A sword flashes past Du Yao Yi as Zuo Li steps forward. He swings his sword without a word, his brow furrowed. This is the second time that Du Yao Yi has been interrupted today.
Son of a...
The old smith told me... Oh, pardon.
The old smith told me to stay hidden in the house while I recover from my injuries. Someone has intruded into the yard. Things are chaotic. Have the mandarins found me?
Jiyun holds the sword tighter in her arms.
Shifu said the sword forge would be easy to find. There are as many sword forges as there are inns in the nomadic city, but you are always pointed towards the same place if you ask for the sword forge without specifying which one. Shifu was right. She said the sword forge was not big or impressive, just a few furnaces and an old tree. But there are always friends coming in and out, drinking, singing, sparring with each other. They come from all walks of life, but they have fought together and went to many places together. They take turns fueling the fire, sometimes even grabbing the blacksmith's hammer to bang on the metal for a while. The bright fire keeps the night away. Shifu says there is a place like this in every city. Inconspicuous, but indispensable. All Shifu talked about in her last days were these things, these people, and this place.
Who's there?
This place cannot be allowed to come to harm. Stop! You're making a mess of the yard. Go outside if you want to fight.
So they had help hiding here. Why does she have the sword? Boss, the girl's injured. Kill her first. A gust of wind sends sand flying everywhere, obscuring the figures darting across the yard. The injured girl steps back, pressing on her wound, and leans against the old tree, panting. She does not notice Du Yao Yi's approach. The masked attacker once again disappears into the shadows. The young candleholder steps into the middle of the yard, shielding the 2 girls behind him. A sword has appeared on his belt, tightly attached to a hidden fastener.
My sword! When did it? The impact just now?
A broken leather strap falls to the ground. made by hunters out of the hide of their prey. The tough, durable leather was perfect for holding a sword. The sword that has never left her side.
This is the Grandmaster's sword. Now that I have the sword, I won't pursue this particular matter any further if you're not working with the Shanhaizhong. The matter of you trespassing into the barracks can wait. Hey! Give it back! Who are you? Let me go! You're hurt, stay put. I don't care about the sword, but you being here at the Sword Forge means you must know Meng Tie. Tell me, where is he? Did you see two young people from Changzhou in the Sword Forge? I'll rip your wound open if you don't talk.
Looks like they're not together. Those outside, those outside block the exit. Don't let them get away. Did you hear me? The sound is very clear, very close. He turns around, startled. The pain increases as he moves, becoming as clear as the communicator that has been cut in half. He does not have time to regret.
Yubai. I took care of the ones outside. The same group that attacked you at the market. Shanhaizhong?
Yes.
Reckless. Not only have you failed to improve your kung fu,
I can listen to your reproaches later, after we've taken care of these.
Wait.
Her palms have begun to sweat after just a few moments.
The yard, the heat.
It's getting hotter.
It's only March and it's night. How could the temperature be rising? Could it be the Sword Forge's Originium furnace? The fire is out.
Boss, we lost a few guys to her. Stop wasting time.
So you knew you were wasting time?
Do the cicadas sing in March? The air is so oppressingly humid, it almost feels like water. This is no morning dew. Everyone realizes that something is out of the ordinary. A drop of water falls on Kyubai's face. Spring comes late in the north. New leaves have yet to appear on the old pagoda tree. The water droplets formed on a sword blade. Master.
Where is Meng Tie?
Not here. We ran into them as we were preparing to leave.
This sword. You were the one who attacked Uncle Tae.
And we proceed with the after story. An innkeeper? Who was that man? He just came in looking around and left. Could be a plainclothes from the patrol battalion, coming to see if there are smugglers here. Plainclothes won't bumble like that or draw so much attention. Then he came to cause trouble. I'll go and catch him. Oh, he was gone in a blink of an eye. He clearly knows Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon? Qui-Gon? Whatever. That was the last in. Nothing. The girl said she wanted to leave the city, but she's not at the gates. The dog had to use the best meds to treat her. What if she doesn't come back, and he puts the bill on my tab? I have to catch her.
I'm not sure I understand your analogy.
It wasn't the most apt. I opened my little agency in Lungmen to make a living, but business ended up better than I expected. Wei and Wu and the LGD can't deal with every little trouble out there. We need good citizens like Mr. Lin to pitch in.
It can't be helped.
Can't be helped. That's true for Lugman, and it's true for Yumen as well. Yumen patrols the northern borders to repel potential threats to Yan. Back when Originium technology was not so advanced, it took several times the manpower to run a mobile fortress like Yumen, compared to today. A group of patriotic martial artists went to Yumen at the time. They never officially joined the army, but they helped out with all sorts of things. Escorting messengers, scouting the path ahead, even going into battle with the army. They played a key role in Yumen's peace and prosperity, and earned the respect of the city.
The court and Chngyue were of one mind.
This was how Yumen used to be, until 20 years ago.
The Shanhaizhong?
Yes, once again, the Shanhaizhong were the reason. There's nothing else. I hope I didn't bother you in your duties. It would be on my head. You knew I wouldn't agree. A short whistle, then the tower's Originium lights shuts off without warning, surrounding the pair in darkness. A flickering flame lights up in the distance a second later. The soldiers run back and forth, passing the torch between the beacons. 17 roars of the drum dragged through the night sky by the rapidly moving Yumen. Today is the second day of the Wangfang festival. It was created to remind the people of Yumen to remember the past. This meeting may have taken place earlier or later. By then, you may have recalled a few things. I've never forgotten. Do you remember how many of the heroes who died for Yumen were not soldiers? They owe Yumen nothing. Nor does Yumen owe anyone anything. Zhua! Stand down. It was my negligence that allowed those criminals into the city 20 years ago, disguised as human martial artists. You can blame me, punish me, execute me. But the blame should fall only on me, or on you. All the responsibility falls upon me. And how have you taken responsibility? Alienating the brothers who gave blood and sweat for Yumen, driving them away. Is that your idea of taking responsibility? Yumen owes them an answer. Yumen belongs to Yan. All he does is in the service of the Yanese people. That's my answer. This meeting is over. The name Shanhaizhong is not widely known. It wasn't that anyone was negligent. Everyone was so focused on guarding against external threats, they didn't realize there were enemies hiding in the shadows. Bodyguards, bouncers, blacksmiths. These civilians often fought alongside the soldiers and enjoyed a great deal of freedom in Yumen. The Shanhaizhong took advantage of this fact. The city was caught off guard and responded slowly. The Shanhaizhong's plot to destroy the city power core was foiled, but only after heavy casualties had been taken. After that,
taking measures after the fact is still better than not at all.
But the measures might have gone too far. After that, the Lord Exorcist began to reform the city's administration, removing Chngyue involvement and setting increased restrictions on the movement of the people. Some of those who stayed joined the army, others put their swords down and took up another living. An ordinary cook at an inn may have been a famous swordsman back in the day. 20 years is plenty of time for a city to look very different.
That always says that there will come a day when Lungmen won't need downtown, or the Rat King anymore. If there comes a day when this city no longer needs to patrol the barren lands, then the people in the city won't need to carry swords anymore.
Times change. Some want to give it a push, others a pull. In the end, they're all left behind. That's the story that I heard. Does it help?
A lot, actually. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
What did you learn? 10 men, 2-hour shifts. No extra guards at the sand sluice. Just as I saw. One more thing to ask you to do. At the hour of you, I want you to cause a little commotion around the sand sluice. Nothing too big, just draw away the patrols. What do you... Ask no questions, if you still trust me. Alright. Did you see Zuo Shanliao on the tower? Yes, I did.
It's getting hotter. Someone attacked Wei and Wu last night and threw the Yumen barracks into chaos. You were the assassin. You cause abnormal weather wherever you go. Is this arts or some other trick?
Murder of a messenger, attempted theft of catastrophe data, attempted assassination of a court official. What do you think Yumen is, Shanhaizhong?
A city headed the wrong way. This way is wrong. Go no further.
You know a Yumen is returning.
It's not hard to guess.
Father tasked me to complete 3 tasks in 3 days. Recover the Grandmaster's sword, catch the assassin, and track down the Shanhaizhong who have infiltrated the city. It turns out all the answers were right here in the Sword Forge.
You won't complete any of them. Stand back. This one's kung fu is unfathomable. We're no match for him. You're not as strong as the Forte man, but you seem a little quicker on the uptick. So it was you who attacked Lord Taihei. You dodged the last strike. Will you dodge or block the next one?
Neither. He often told her that kung fu is like climbing a mountain, whether as a tool of revenge or a way of life. The more treacherous the path, the steadier one's heart must be. She saw her enemy, and she saw the mountain. This is why she spent 5 years with him. If the battle cannot be won, she would seek to not lose.
Offense is the best defense. You have guts. I'll give you that. Well, things are not as simple as you think.
They cross swords, and she realizes her decision was imprudent. She's facing another mountain. Cold steel flashes before her face, the droplets on the blade touching her nose. She can hear her own heartbeat. If the record keeper was here, he would have exclaimed that Chngyue recreated the move on the training ground. Dive, stop, and turn around before hitting the arc of death, like the foul beast that narrowly avoids the waves on the river.
You dodged again.
How dare you!
You?
Get out of the way, Zuo Li! Chngyue grabs Zuo Li by the collar and pulls him back. He sees the foe's third swing, which lights up the yard. It is March, but the Sword Forge feels like it's midsummer. Even the night sky looks a little whiter in the heat wave. There is only a pagoda tree behind them. There is nowhere to run.
The sword. Don't move. You're still trying to take the sword? Do you want to get yourself killed? You're not dying until you tell me where Mengtie is, Gomazai.
A burly man suddenly appears in the yard. He grabs the girl and knocks away the sword in one fluid motion. Like a bucket of cold water poured down on the ground, he forces everyone to scatter. The heat disappears. I've been looking for you.
Let me go!
You almost got yourself killed. I told you to stay put in the clinic. Now you've made your injuries worse.
You're still inhuman, Huai?
Oh, it's you. Your Shifu won't fight me until he's left his post. I have to wait for him.
You haven't budged for 3 years.
Nope. What's more important than this? Where can I find an opponent like him after he leaves Yumen?
There's a kung fu master right here in front of you. Why don't you have a go at her if it's a fight you're looking for?
This woman?
You're in my way.
Something didn't feel right when I blocked that attack. It was heavy, but had neither form nor design. I don't know what that strange power is, but you're no master. I have no time for you.
You hear that commotion inside, Jing? That young man just broke in before I could stop him.
Damn. This is DA's last workshop. It's been good to us. We need to protect it.
Master, boss, there are more Chngyue adventurers coming. And human soldiers behind them coming from 3 directions, around 100 in total. No point wasting time here if the one we're looking for isn't here.
Sudden silence. It is as though the cicadas were never there. It is still March. The chill of early spring makes everyone shiver. Let's go.
Stop right there. That's the one, Jing.
Where are you going, sir?
Out of my way.
Look at the mess here. Hardly anything left standing except the walls. You owe us an explanation.
This is a human military case. Anyone who interferes will be arrested.
Wait, you're Zuo Shanliao's kid. So Zuo Shanliao wants to take down the last sword forge now?
Impudent!
Lord Zuo!
Did you see the Shanhaizhong on your way here?
We've set the man after them.
Good. Round them up and take them into custody.
Lord Zuo,
there are dozens of them, all local residents. They appear right as the criminals retreated and obstructed our pursuit. They must be investigated thoroughly. All the rest have something to do with the case. The girl in the exotic outfit was hiding in the sword forge. She must know where Meng Tie is. I'm going with you, if you take her away. The sword forge is linked to the Shanhaizhong. Given your ties to Meng Tie, I would have asked you to come with us regardless. As for you...
She's coming with me to get her wounds treated and pay her bill.
This is no time for jokes. I can't go with you.
All you care about is this sword.
Why you...
I want to point out for anybody just listening to this that he literally just jumped over to to Zuo and yoinked the sword in one motion. I hate him as a father, but as a character, I love this idiot. Anyway.
Take these people back to the barracks for questioning. I'll go after the Grandmaster's sword.
Are you alright, Miss Q?
Just a scratch. Do as Zuo Li says for now. Please treat those Chngyue people with proper respect, Millennium. That man...
Noises continue to emanate from the direction of the sword forge, but Waifu stops in her tracks. The figure on the roof vanished in the blink of an eye, as though it was just a gust of wind. Waifu tightens her fist. She has never been more certain. Not gonna lie, that tiny little moment there at the end with Waifu, after so many years seeing her father again, does send some slight shivers down my spine. That is a thing. Anyway, we are gonna continue on to our cutscene only stage, ST-2, titled Believe My Belief. For vengeance, for loyalty, for the people. I was born by the river. Dad told me that the river links the entire world. Build a good boat and you can go anywhere. Dad hated the snow. People can't go out when it snows. So business stops and the whole family starves. That's how I got my name. I didn't know what business was, only that Dad would come home at the end of each month with a sword in one hand and stuff for the family in the other, including a present for me. Mom would sort the stuff and wash Dad's bloody clothes without a word. Then one day, a group of people wearing armor broke into the fort. Dad lived on the river all his life, and that's where he died. I only remember the leader. He didn't look happy at the total victory he just won. He only gazed at the river dyed red with blood, lost in thought. There was only one thought on his mind. I wanted to take revenge. I found out where he lived. I left home, going from the easternmost edge of Yan to the westernmost. I learned that the land was more than just the river. There were mountains, streams, forests, plains. People lived in many different ways and dealt with many different hardships. The river fort was too small. Dad might have chosen a different path if he had come out and seen all the land under heaven. Dad was wrong. There were only so many places you could go in a boat. Finally, I came to Yumen. He stood atop the walls with that same expression. I began to understand. I should take revenge. That's about it. Huai has the sword. The kung fu lunatic is too much for Zhuo Li to deal with. He waited 3 years just to fulfill the promise. Interesting man. How are Taihei's injuries? He's still unconscious. The one who wounded Taihei was the same one who attacked Wei and Wu. She got away in the chaos and was too fast for me to catch. Zhuo Li closed the sword forge. Many martial artists are under observation. Catastrophe lies before us, while the relationship between the military and Chngyue has broken down. Yumen is only going to face even more chaos. I could hardly reproach him for being impetuous. You must take action yourself. General Zhu entrusted the garrison to me. I can't very well openly defy him. You know I'm not just talking about what happened these few days. You'll be leaving soon. You must answer to those who looked up to you before you leave. Or did you think you could dodge the question that you cannot answer clearly? People think that you're my student. Sometimes even I forget where you came from and treat you like I would Zhuo Li and the record keeper. I've never called you master. I'm not your master. You're unnatural. Most of what you could do with a sword you learned on your own. There was little I could teach you. You hid my identity from the others, allowing me to stay at Yumen. I can't very well abandon a child to the barons. You never thought I would try to kill you.
Or did you think I could never defeat you?
You didn't have to beat me if you wanted revenge. Just slip some poison into my food or push me off the wall. I worried that you wouldn't be able to let it go, even after killing me.
I would have called you a hypocrite if I hadn't hung around you for 5 years.
5 years? It's been that long?
Not so long from your point of view, is it?
Why, would you say that?
Your appearance hasn't changed the slightest, and you still have that sad, depressed expression on your face. As though you've grown tired of seeing everything that happens in the world. The slowest burdened beast would realize that you're no ordinary man. I always thought the stories about long-lived races were a myth. Turns out there's one right next to me.
You knew.
I just never cared. I wanted revenge. How long you could live didn't matter. And thinking about you not being an ordinary mortal is just looking for an excuse. Like you said, climb the mountain one step at a time. All other thoughts are just distractions.
Can one truly let go of one's obsession with vengeance, one's obsession with victory and defeat, even when one's wish is fulfilled? Distractions make your sword slow.
We mortals need our obsessions in order to keep living. You know that.
You weren't so forceful when we first met.
You taught me a lot these 5 years.
Only the basics of Kung Fu.
As you said, you can only teach me so much, but how much one learns is up to oneself. You should go and see those who remember you. Far too many have an obsession with you. The big man is gone.
Stop right there.
You again.
If you're not in league with those criminals, why did you steal the sword? What is your connection to the man in the clinic?
I don't know them, and I don't know who he is.
You don't understand what kind of trouble you've gotten yourself in. You've never lived in a nomadic city, and you know nothing about Yumen. Someone told you where the sword was and got you to steal it. But you don't understand what kind of trouble it would bring. Tell me, things may still be salvageable.
I told you I'm not acting under anyone's instructions. I'm just repaying a debt.
Even if the price is your life?
Stop following me.
Whatever the truth is, I can't sit idle aside and let you put yourself in danger. I'm trying to help you.
All your words won't change anything. You're not a good person.
I'm under orders to investigate. You're the one who stole the sword. You may have your reasons, but that's no excuse for distorting the truth.
The man who arrested all the smiths at the forge can't be trusted.
They tried to cover the Shanhaizhong's escape.
They were there to protect it.
All involved must be investigated until they are cleared of suspicion. We face the double threat of catastrophe and criminals. I must abide by my duty to Yumen.
My clan only makes weapons for strong and healthy Anasa who have reached the age of 16. Those who receive a weapon swear to protect the young, the elderly, and the sick of the clan. You say things about not letting me put myself in danger, about protecting a city, but you point your weapon at the common people.
This is my duty.
Shifu was right. You people think that you're always right, just because of your lofty jurisdictions.
I slowed down on purpose, only to find that no one was following. You two started chatting while I still have the sword.
There's been a misunderstanding, sir. I ask that you return the sword to its rightful master.
I heard you two arguing and more or less have an idea what's going on. The sword belonged to the Grandmaster, but this girl sneaked it out. I'm sure he doesn't rely on any single weapon. Don't tell me he sent you after it because he missed it so much.
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to say.
Causing trouble for him would delay his retirement even more, but I promise to help this girl here. What a headache. Aha! I can't really be bothered with complicated questions, but I have a quick and simple solution. Both of you have some kung fu. Why don't you two fight it out, here and now, and whoever wins gets the sword. No weapons, hand to hand only.
Ridiculous. How can someone so... How can something so important be determined so callously? I'm not fighting... I'm in a hurry.
You're not fighting, she is. Fist and foot as one in points of 5. Catch and parry. Barrage to open. Even within an inch there lies right and wrong. Focus elsewhere only negates effort. Oh. The day has barely begun to break. The inn's workers wipe the tables and prepare food for the day in the kitchen. There rises the call of foul beasts in the backyard and the sound of fists cutting through the air. Like father, like daughter. Nice.
Uncle Lee.
It's been a while since I've seen you practice this form. I thought maybe you had some sort of divine inspiration that helped you rise above forms and moves.
Don't tease me like that. The only way to get better at martial arts is to practice. There are no magical secrets.
You're right. I remember how you got on the wrong side of a gang the first time you went on an errand for the company. When I arrived, all I saw was triads lying unconscious on the ground, while you stood there like nothing happened. You were only 16.
I started learning Kung Fu before I learned to talk.
You remember?
He told me...
At least he taught you well in that regard.
Like they say, your teacher can show you the door, but you have to be the one to walk through it. Well, I suppose being shown the door is important too.
Maybe this was the only thing that he felt he could do as a father. I'm not trying to defend him. He wasn't a good father, but you shouldn't let that stop you from living the life that you want. Consider your Kung Fu a gift. You can always tuck it away if you don't like it. Pursuit of Kung Fu mastery was his path, but it doesn't have to be yours.
I have nothing against Kung Fu, and of course I have my own life. I graduated magna cum laude with a degree in mechanical engineering from the Yumen University of Science and Technology. I'm an employee of Lee's detective agency and field operator for Rhode Island.
But not the first hero of justice to graduate from LMUST.
I could be, if needed.
Then tell him the next time you see him.
Uncle Lee, you...
You wouldn't just pick up a form that you haven't practiced for a long time for no reason. Considering his irresponsible behavior all these years, it would be more than understandable if you wanted to pick a fight with him. It's okay if you lose. I doubt he was any better at your age. The award for Best Uncle and Best Dad goes to Lee. Anyway, Zuo Lee is young for a candle holder, but he has seen his share of cases. However, there has never been one where he could not fight back, nor has he ever been taught what to do in such a situation. Does he have a guilty conscience, or just not willing to take advantage of an injured girl? All Zuo Lee does is block the attacks as they fall on him. They both fall to the ground, their faces covered in dirt, but the girl continues to strike with all that she has. It looks like a fight between children. Huai Tianpei just shakes his head and sighs. Stop. The girl wins. Catch. Go and repay your debt. Then come back and pay your medical bill.
Alright.
Here's your sword, boy. You didn't fight back because you knew she was hurt. No shame in that. No need to give me that look. The girl promised me she'll come back. I trust her. If she goes back on her word, I'll catch her for you.
You can go now. Why are you looking at me like that? Looks like you're unharmed. Surprised or disappointed? I didn't want anything to happen to you. There was a misunderstanding. Sorry to get you into trouble. I've explained it to them. Everything is fine. Hold on. A soldier told me that the armband, the one you gave me, was evidence retrieved from outside the city the day before. Are you going to explain it to me or not? Why should I, if you already know the story?
Du Yaoyi's fist stops in midair. Lin Yusha makes no motion to block or dodge.
We've only just met. I can understand if you don't trust me. You wanted someone to help you check out the sword forge. That's fine. But you shouldn't have used my friend as a pretext. Sorry. Stop. You don't get to apologize to me. I won't forgive you. Fine. Is this how Lugmanites do things? It's how I do things. Well, I'm not going to come away empty-handed from this. What did you find? Tell me everything you know. I became certain of what I had only suspected. Starting with the attack on the messenger, something was off about everything we've seen. It wasn't a coincidence that you ran into the Shanhaizhong at the Sword Forge. It's proof that Meng was in leagues with them. So it was him? He is the only one with both the motivation and the means to plan all this. I don't understand why he would do it. What else do you know about my friend's whereabouts? Not much. I sent someone to look into it. In the worst case scenario, all of Yumen could be in great danger. I hope this is not his goal, or that he has a plan.
All these years, Meng Tie has rarely stood outside his workshop to gaze upon it. Inside the yard has always felt cramped. The walls and doors look more impressive when one looks on them from outside. There are only a few days left of the month-long market. The streets are busy as ever, making the lonely Swordforge feel conspicuous in comparison. The closed sign has fallen to the ground, replaced by red and white ceiling tape. A rivet has fallen from the door. He has never noticed, nor has anyone told him. Am I getting senile? I couldn't even get this one last thing done properly. Alright then, and let's finish off today's episode with stage 5, titled Rain Forecast. Catastrophe is coming. Let those who must leave, leave. Let the debts that must be settled, be settled. The sun sets in the west. Both the people and the city walls cast long shadows, covering the stalls by the road. A vendor closes his umbrella and yawns. Closing up. 30% off on what's left so I can go home for dinner. Just go. Tourists these days don't care about your toy weapons anymore. I would have joined the army if I had the skills to forge real swords. Say, I saw a tourist carrying a blood-red sword yesterday. Now that was something unusual. I wonder where it came from. I saw a tourist carrying a blood-red sword yesterday. I wonder where it came from. The girl looks around perplexed. She has never seen a scene like this before. The ground rumbles slightly underneath her feet, likely the sign that the nomadic city is deaccelerating. The people on the streets seem completely unperturbed by it, going about their business as usual. She smells the aroma of food and remembers that she has not eaten for 2 days. The soreness all over her body hits at the same time as the hunger. Her legs take on a mind of their own following the scent to a restaurant. What would you like?
Whatever that person is having.
Cold noodles with roasted meat for table 3. It is near dinner time, and the place is almost full. A good hearty dinner is the most comforting thing for honest, working people who have been busy all day. The TV on the wall plays a martial arts drama on repeat, the familiar story occasionally catching the attention of the customers.
Why does that man in the box look like him? The swordswoman next to him looks a little like Shifu, but not quite the same. What does adapted from true events mean?
Your noodles, miss.
Thank you.
I say 100-meter scroll signed by every single person in town. Now that's a meaningful gift.
Nishalema, the Grandmaster is going on a journey. How is he gonna carry that?
Now very quickly, this very first sentence here, I couldn't find anything to what this would be translated to. The closest, however, that I found was a very similar sentence, and now I'm wondering if it might be misspelled here. Because the thing that I found, instead of having the sha in there, is a cha. I know it sounds very similar, but it's different. However, the thing that I found, pretty much written in the same way, just instead of sha was cha, is apparently, according to the article at least that I found, is apparently like a conversation opener in Chinese. Something similar or akin to saying, how's the weather? How are you doing? Just in this case, this one would translate then to, have you eaten yet? But I don't know if it is actually meant to be that conversation opener or not. Maybe someone can clarify, but yeah, I couldn't find anything else. Everything else was just jumble and everything not related to this. Anyway, continuing. Better to have something practical, like some local food for him to eat on the way. How many years has the Grandmaster protected Yumen? All I know that he's been around since before my dad was born. He must be more than 100. No wonder he's leaving his post. It must take a toll on him. But I've heard some Chngyue wanderers say that they've seen him lately and he still looks like he's middle-aged. Wait, is he immortal or something? I heard there are those who live much longer than normal, thanks to arts. The Grandmaster must be one of those. Anyway, the one thing everyone should remember is that he is the hero and protector of Yumen. Never heard about a spouse or kids though. What a shame, when you consider that General Zuo's son has already reached adulthood.
They call him a hero.
How did you like your meal, miss?
It was very good.
Now, the bill...
I'll take care of it. Thank you. Sure. Now, how about that we meet again? Did you lose your wallet or just forgot? I lost it. Ouch, that's unlucky. Looks like you're new around here. I'm guessing you don't really know the place? I'll go with you to report the loss. Thank you, but I'm fine. I'll pay you back next time. Hold on. Is this the sword you said you were looking for? Are you trying to take it too? What do you think I am, a thief? But I've heard rumors that a special sword went missing. Could it be... I have to go.
Who's there? Show yourself!
They say you don't try this with martial artists.
Especially not with the martial artist.
Am I a goner if he just takes a swing by instinct without looking?
Then I would have to arrest him for manslaughter.
So, did I win the bet?
You did.
I had a bet with Liang Shun over here how you'd react when you saw us. He said you would turn around and leave, but I said you would freeze on the spot. Never seen one who could read others better than you. Well, he is my oath brother, not exactly a stranger. Don't worry, my food doesn't know you're here. A reunion of father and daughter calls for a grander occasion after all. I'm not like our Lord Magistrate over here, who drags me into trouble the first time we see each other in a dozen years. Yes, I know I owe you one. Is it too much sarcasm if I keep harping on this? Well, there's no one else here, just the three of us. We have wine and food. Shall we sit down and chat? The location of all these suspicious warehouses has been sent to your terminals. Check them one by one, going from east to west. Move quickly, time is short. Don't do anything rash. If you find something, contact the others and we'll move in to get...
Were you looking for me?
He reacts quickly. Years of experience have taught him when it is time to fight and when it is time for flight. As soon as he turns around, however, he feels a hand on his shoulder, immobilizing him.
Why are you trying to run, if you're looking for me?
You,
Sharp, but not enough guts. Fix that and there's potential for bigger things for you.
The old man withdraws his hand.
Tell Miss Lin that I will be waiting for her at the warehouse in the southern city, on 5th Street, Block 7, at the hour of Shen.
Not drinking. I'm still on duty. What about you?
Alcohol isn't good for you.
Well, what are we gonna do if we're not drinking or talking? Just stare at each other. Didn't you have something to ask him, Mr. Liang? I could ask you the same. Have we gotten to the point that we can't talk while sober?
If you have something to say, say it.
What have you been doing?
Wandering. Looking for strong opponents in each new place, until there's no one left. Then I move on.
I had to study Mr. Liang. To see what the changes were over the years. You, or I guess Huai. You wear them on your face.
What changed?
You got old.
That's obvious.
I was actually worried I was going to hear something that you, someday that you died in a duel.
Would I?
There's always someone better, as they say. So, how long have you been in Yumen?
3 years. There's someone here who promised to fight me. He said it could take 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe more.
Yuai Tianpei, so obsessed with earning fame, learning patience.
What's a few years here? There's no one else to fight anyway. So you've been working at the clinic for 3 years. The scent of herbal medicine covers up the aroma of the wine. There is nothing left but a bitter taste. Pulsatilla yanensis, Psychotrias rubra, Antoxylum avicania, Zenetio scandens. I spent almost a month asking the various schools. Never imagined that you were right here in this clinic opposite the inn. Debts have to be paid. Then you know who it is you owe the biggest debt. That's all I have to say. What about you, Mr. Liang? Just here to see how an old friend is doing. It's not an interrogation. Huai Tianpei has been in Yumen for 3 years. You've been here a while yourself, but you picked this time to visit. It's no time to consider private sentiment, when there is unrest in the city. In your patriotism, you won't even permit commoners like us to think of private sentiment. What do you... I'll sit for a while longer, if you... I'll sit for a while longer, if you're really here to reminisce about old times. But look at us, we've gotten to the point where we can't even talk freely. Huai Tianpei picks up his cup, drinks it dry, and leaves the room. Did you get the answer you were looking for, Mr. Liang? I guess so. As Huai Tianpei's oath brother, or as the advisor of Yumen, I should be used to you seeing through things by now. Maybe you should change your habit of bringing trouble on yourself. At least don't get to the point where you don't even have someone to talk to. There's a job he just might be the right man for. Like how you had me handle that goblet. Nothing that complicated. Even when he's Huai Tianpei, he's still Wai Tianpui. He's the hardest to change. What about you and I? The same flowers, the same wine, but the spirit of youth is no more. It's precious enough that we can still sit around the same table and chat a little over a drink. It's a fool's errand to try to go back to the past. You're trying to stop me too? A lot has happened over the past couple days. There's a lot happening that I'm not sure about. If you mean no harm, I suggest you stay and help explain what's happening. I don't have time. Hand it over. No. Did they follow you? I don't know them. Are you the ones who've been causing trouble around town? Stupid girl. Was she holding back when she fought me in the ring? These crooks sure can bark, even if they can't bite. And that is where we're gonna leave off for today. I know it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but would have completed the stage if there was another scene here. But next episode will be out tomorrow, so you guys won't have to wait for too long. But anyway, what a interesting part, especially that meeting of the 3 old bros there right at the end. That was quite the interesting thing. Also, a tourist with a red sword. Why are we doing this again? Why are we doing this again? Oh boy. Anyway, that will be probably tomorrow. Who knows? But we'll see. Cannot wait. This is gonna be hilarious. I can already tell. Anyway, this will be it for today's part, like I said. Thank you very much for listening. If you've liked this video, please consider leaving a like. It helps me in the algorithm and means a lot to me. Means a lot to me. What am I saying? Anyway, I think I'm tired. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next part. Until then, bye-bye.